guys, so our notes for today, they're going to be called angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. Angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. And just like I've been doing it, we make a little visual and then we formalize it. But at least the title, you guys have it. Angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. So let me first create an angle. You guys have my angle A. You guys see the measurement for it. Let me create my angle B, because I'm looking at angle, angle, side. So I need two angles and a side. But notice how the side, the S is not between the angles. So I'm not going to choose the side between the angles. I'm going to choose the third side. I'm going to choose the side AC. So once again, I'm giving the limit is two angles. You guys see my angles A and B. The side is not the one in between it. So it's not going to be the included side. I'm going to choose a second side. So the side AC. And then, so we're dealing with triangle, with dotted lines, let me complete my triangle. If I move one point, if I was to move my point C, I can see my angles change. As a matter of fact, the measurement of side of the length AC also changes, right? We can see the side changes, and we can see both angles change. If I was to move point A or point B, so I'm just going to move point A. If I was to move point A, I notice my measurements of the angles. You guys see them over here? The measurements of the angles don't change. However, AC, the length AC, does change. So now, what angle, angle, side said, imagine you cannot change your angles. A and B cannot be changed, but the measurement AC cannot be changed either. So you're limited to the two angles. So the two angles and the length AC, they cannot change. Can we possibly come up with a different triangle? Yes, okay. No. So let's formalize this. Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. If two angles and a non-included side, once again, I'm included non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. As a matter of fact, let me make your notes a little shorter. Let's say those were the new thing. I think the last part, we can take it off. So, if two angles and a not included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So if two angles and a not included side, yesterday we talked about the included angle for side angle side. We talked about the included angle, which was the angle between the two sides. So non-included side would be the side that is not between the angles. And then like I showed you guys. So for example, think the way we can see this would be like these two triangles. Notice on my green triangle, angle C and B are marked, and I'm saying those are congruent to angles E and F, but also I have the side AB congruent to the side ED. I don't know if you guys can see my marks. I'm saying two angles and one side from one triangle, and I'm doing two angles and one side from the other triangle. It's just that the side is not between the angles. It's just another side. We're good? Okay. Now, let's take a look at the other rule. We're going to look at angle, side angle. So let's take a look. One angle, another angle, but now the side is in between the angles. So remember, for angle side, the side was not in between the angles. Now for side angle, the side is in between them. Obviously, we're dealing with a triangle, so let me connect these. So if I move point A, I notice my angles don't change, but the measurement of AB, the length that I was given, that point changes. We can see the segment AB changes. And obviously if I do point B, we'll do the same. If I move point C, the length AB doesn't change, but my angles do. Right, so my angles do, the segment AB doesn't, but the angles do. So can we move a point? So to create another triangle, can we move a point that will not change the segment AB, and it will not change the angles A and B? Yes. We can. Which point can we move? We cannot, right? If we move points A or B, the segment will decrease. If I move point C, the angles change, so we cannot. So let's write this rule. If two angles and the included side of one triangle are equal to the corresponding angles and side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Again, if two angles in the included side, remember the included side is the side in between the angles, of one triangle are equal to the corresponding angles and side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. An example, that those two triangles, I'll say, are congruent. So if two angles in the included side of one triangle, you guys see I have on my triangle to the left, I have two angles in the included side. Remember, the included side is the side in between them. So if two angles in the included side are equal to the two angles in the included side of another triangle, then these two triangles are the same. That's basically what that rule says. So just like yesterday, we needed 3 marks, right? For side, angle, side, we needed 3 marks. Today, we still need 3 marks as well. Remember, the first rule we saw today was angle, side. So I need 2 angles in the not included side. The other rule that we saw is angle, side, angle. I need 2 angles in the included side. Does that make sense? Any questions so far on our notes? All right, let's take a look at our homework, our worksheet. Stating the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. For question number 1, just like yesterday, if they share a side, we can mark it. Remember, we can legally mark a side if they share it. We can legally mark an angle if it's vertical. So we can mark that side. So are those two triangles congruent, and how do you know? Yes, they are. How do you know? Angle, side. If we look at one triangle, let me focus on that triangle. We know we have 2 angles, so for sure there's 2 A's. What we can ask ourselves is the side between the angles? Right, is the side, because it's not, then don't put the S in between the angles. Right, put it at the side. Looking at question number 2, we can mark that side, right, because they both share it. Are those two congruent, and if they are, state how do you know? Angle, side, angle. So you notice, each triangle, let me take a look at this bottom triangle. There are two angles, so that's why the rule has two A's, but now the side is in between the angles, so that's why we put the S in between the A's. So the difference on 1 and 2 is both of them have two angles in the side. Like basically that's what they got, two angles in the side. The difference on 1 is the side is not between the angles. Question number 2, the mark for the side, it is between the two angles. Alright, so let's take look at a few questions. Looking at number 3, we can legally mark those angles because they're vertical angle theorem. There's an X form, so those can be marked. Are those two congruent, and if they are, how do you know? You said angle, side, angle? So the side is in between the angles? Angle, angle, side. Alright, looking at question number 4, I can legally mark those angles. Notice I'm doing two arcs, just because they already used the one arc for the other angle. So just to mark them differently. So, angle, angle, side? Yeah. Angle, angle, side? No. Side, angle, side? No. Angle, angle, side. Angle, side, angle? Yes. Because keep in mind, you have the side, the mark for the side, it's right in between the two angles. So make sure you put the side right in between the two angles. As a matter of fact, on your triangles, you will always have at least two of something. Either two angles or two sides. Two of something. Like yesterday, two sides and an angle, that could give us side, angle, side for yesterday. So let me take a look at question number 5. You can mark those angles. They're vertical. Question number 5, is that congruent? If it is, how do you know? Eight side angle? So the side is right in between the angles? Angle, angle, side. Right? The side is not between the angles. Well, if you're not quite sure, I guess, if you guys are not quite sure, if the side is in between the angles, look at your two angles, and then ask yourself, is the side marked, the one in between? If it is in between the angles, that side would have been marked. If it's not, then it's not between the angles. Alright, question number 6, we can mark that angle with this angle because they're vertical. Are those congruent? If they are, how do you know? Angle, side, angle? So you're saying angle, side angle. So you're looking at two angles on each triangle. Not congruent. If you notice, each triangle only has two markers. One angle on one side. We need 3. So 2 is not enough. Alexia, how are we doing? Not sleeping well at home? Alright, looking at number 7, I can mark this angle because they're vertical. So number 7, congruent, if it is, how do you know? Not congruent. Right, there's 3 angles, and angle, angle, angle is not something we have discussed. We'll talk about it next week. Angle, angle, angle. We'll see if it is or not. But for right now, since we haven't talked about it, let's just call it next. So next week we'll see if it is or not. But once again, we only got 4 rules right now. Side, 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 angle, side, and angle, side, angle. Let me skip a few questions. Well, I guess I didn't include the other 2 today. I'm only including the 2 from today only. Angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. Alright. Any questions? Which one? 14. Alright, let's take a look at 14. we can legally mark that side because they both share it. So is that congruent? No. Not congruent. Number 12. Alright, let's take a look at number 12. One thing on number 12, probably not easy to see, but you guys can see the side is marked. It's just really close to the angle, so that's why I circled it. You guys can see that the sides are marked. You say angle side? Yeah. So the side is not between the angles? Okay, so let's take a look at these two. It's either or the other, right? It's one or the other. Angle side or angle side angle. For angle side, if I see a triangle, I need two angles, but the side not in between. So I'll put it like right here. If I want angle side angle, I need two angles and the side in between. So which one is it? Angle side. Because if you notice that side is not in between. In between it will be that way. Remember, if you're not sure, circle your two angles and look at the side in between.